Hello and welcome to NerdVsWorld episode 62, Pride and Prejudice and Nerds. I'm Brendan.
And I'm Spindles.
And on today's show we've got a roundup of OxCon, we've got previews of what we're looking forward to at the Sci Fi Weekender in a couple of weeks' time.
Yep.
There's reviews of Hail Caesar and Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, reaction to the Ghostbusters trailer, and a bit of a soapbox moment about this push for R-rated superhero films.
Sounds good. And
Yes.
possibly some other bits.
And some other bits and bobs, whatever we can come to think of.
As per usual. Cool. Okay, what do you want to kick off with then?
Well, let's kick off with OxCon, because it's just finished.
Okay,
I
sure.
want to hear about your experiences.
Yeah, cool. I was only there on the Saturday, because sadly I was doing a sleep study thing over the course of the weekend, so I had various electrodes strapped to my brain, which oddly didn't look out of place at a Comic-Con. It's one of the few places in the world.
Did anyone ask you what you were cosplaying
Well,
as?
yeah, because I was talking to the guy from NerdVsWorld, and I was explaining about it, and he was like, "Oh, I just thought it was some kind of cosplay that I didn't know." It's about the only place you can get away with walking around wearing a polysomnograph.
What?
It's called a polysomnograph, is what I was wearing.
What's one of those?
It's a machine for recording your sleep and your brain waves and your muscle movements and eye movements and all sorts of stuff. I had to wear it for 3 days.
Fucking hell.
So, yeah, that was fun.
That's pretty intense. Okay.
Yeah, it's like being hooked up to the Matrix. I had a giant kind of cable plugged down the back of my shirt that went to a box on my side. So, yeah, it was fairly cosplay. So people were just like seeing a random guy wandering around, big military trench coat, electrodes all over his face, and a pirate bandana. Obviously assumed it was some cosplay they didn't know.
He didn't look out of place at a convention.
Yeah.
That says quite a lot for the nerd culture, I think. Either that we're like super accepting of everybody, just come on in, or that, the weird and unusual are commonplace to us.
Well, yeah, that's it. Nobody questioned it because I guess it's that thing of you don't want to look like you don't know what you're talking about. Yeah. So you assume because somebody's there and they've got shit strapped to their face that it's for some reason and they're there, so therefore that must be the reason. Yeah. It's not a big leap of logic, but it's...
No, it's fair.
But yeah, it amused me because I was explaining that to the guy from NerdVsWorld, and then there were a couple of other people sat like in a bay window a bit further down chuckling as I was explaining it, who'd obviously thought exactly the same thing.
Sweet.
So yes, there was that. It was really good. So we were just there on the Saturday. We caught one of the panels, which was really interesting about kind of what kind of drove this guy to choose using comics as a medium for a story that he wanted to tell. So he was talking a bit about the various things that you can only get away with doing in comics, like compression and being able to fit a whole bunch of information into one frame. And it was a really, really interesting lecture on kind of what makes a comic and why you would choose that for a particular medium to tell a story, the presentational versus representational models. So yeah, it was really quite good. So as we said to the guy when he was on, it's a much more academic bent, and there were some really, really good panels taking place over the course of the day with some really, really good subjects covered. It's kind of nice and novel that you have panels about comics at a Comic-Con.
Yes.
Which is, I know it's weird to have to say that, but it's true. I think it's one of one of the first Comic-Cons I've been to that has been predominantly panels about comics as a medium.
Yeah, I would say apart from maybe Lawgiver, but that's a very specific Comic-Con.
Yeah.
But yeah, they at Lawgiver they at least focus on dread.
Yes. So yeah, it was very, very cool. And then a lot of the stalls were very cool. There were some interesting ones there that I hadn't seen before. There was one called, I think it was Air Tag or something, and they basically do spray-on tattoos. So Megan was there cross-playing as Dean Winchester and got a spray-on anti-possession tattoo done.
I saw the pictures. I was just like, with that hair, Meg, you're more Sam.
I know, right?
But I didn't want to say.
I told her that, and she nearly killed me.
Yeah, that's why I didn't want to say anything.
But yeah, so that was fun. Well, interestingly enough, as we were coming in, they were doing bag checks, and she'd brought along one of my airsofts, and it was in her bag, and I was kind of like, oh crap, I better tell the security guard before he sticks his hand in the bag and finds a gun. So I'd explained it, and he was just kind of like, oh, I don't know what to do about this now. And he like wandered over to the organisers, who kind of took one look at it, pulled it, cocked it, and went, yeah, it's an airsoft, that's fine.
Fair.
But yeah, it was interesting that the security guard had no idea what to do with a gun when he actually found one. But the venue was lovely. I mean, I've only been there once before in the whole time I've been in Oxford, and that was a freshers' fair, like best part of 13, 14 years ago when I was doing stuff there for the Bullingdon. But it's a lovely, lovely building. And it was really nice. They had a kind of panel room downstairs, and then upstairs they had kind of two wings of traders and artists and comic artists, and I think Simon Fisher Becker was there, and a couple of other people were there doing autographs and signings. And second Death Eater to the left from Harry Potter was there, and so it was kind of cool. It was nice. It was especially nice to see a lot of kind of independent comic artists and stuff there. The Inky Fingers people were there, who do the stuff down on Cowley Road. So yeah, it was really, really cool, really nice, well turned out. It's not somewhere that I could have spent a whole weekend, because the only thing to do all weekend is the panel. So it would have just been sat down watching panel after panel. Yeah. Because there's only a couple of times you could wander around the shops, and there was no real program of events, so to speak. But I know there were some screenings later on over the weekend, but couldn't make it over that. But it seemed like a really, really good weekend. I thoroughly enjoyed the time I was there, so took some pictures. I'll post them up online a bit. Caught Batman having a fag break and a few amongst other things.
Sweet.
So yeah, it was all very cool. The cosplay was well turned out. There were a lot of very cool cosplays kicking around. Now that Megan's got her newfound love of anime, she's now spotting animes everywhere, which she couldn't before.
I'm surprised she hasn't cosplayed as anything from Super Dungeon Explore yet.
Oh, give it time.
Yeah.
Yeah, give it time.
Give it time. Okay. Cool.
So yes, that was that. All in all, from what I saw, it looked like a success. There was loads of people there. It wasn't rammed, so it wasn't like other cons we've been to where it's difficult to move around. You actually had the space to move around, look at the exhibits, and talk to the people who the comics creators. And from talking to some of the traders there, they said it was ridiculously well organised in comparison to other events that they've been to. So yeah, by all accounts, fantastic. Hoping it'll be back again.
Awesome. Of course, the next local one for us is Didcot.
It is indeed. Well, that's July, so it's a ways off yet.
Yeah, but
June, sorry.
There isn't another one local to us, though, is there?
No, I don't think so. Well, I think there's a Reading one, but I don't know when that is.
I found out there's a Swindon Comic Con coming up soon from someone I was speaking to on OkCupid.
Okay. Comic Cons everywhere.
Yeah. It's basically Virginia Hayes doing a tour of the UK.
Yeah. Simon Fisher Becker.
Yeah, selling Farscape pictures or Doctor Who memorabilia. But fair enough.
No, fair play.
So the next big one, though, for us is Sci Fi Weekender.
It is indeed. Yeah, we're oh God, are we only a week and a bit away now? Is it next week?
It's next Thursday, week Thursday.
Holy shit, it is, yeah. Crap. All right, okay, I better get prepped then.
Yeah, so it's going to be St. Patrick's Day, so I'm going to wake up, do my usual St. Patrick's Day photo in my Island rugby top, then take that off and drive through Wales.
You don't want to be driving through Wales.
I'm not really feeling the love. Driving through Wales on final weekend of Six Nations, wearing my RBS Island rugby top. So I'm going to stop in Llangollen at some point as well.
Yes.
So yeah.
So yes, Sci Fi Weekender. So what have you got anything that you're looking forward to particularly out of the weekend?
The BBC Radiophonic Workshop.
Yes, of course.
I'm looking forward to speaking to those guys. Both as a fan of their work on, well, all the radio shows I used to listen to growing up, but particularly Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. And also, from the academic point of view, I work in audio engineering for those listeners who don't realise yet. So this is kind of what I do for a living. So yeah, hearing their stories on history of sound and development of their techniques is definitely top of my list of things to do.
Sweet.
And Brian Blessed.
Of course, he's always good.
Yeah, and Eve Miles.
Yes, the Torchwood panel I'm really looking forward to. Every time I've seen Eve Miles, she's done a fantastic Q&A. So.
I'm looking forward to seeing her in the pub and us getting drunk.
Yeah, hell yeah. Yeah, very much so. We've taken Megan through the first 3 seasons of Torchwood now, so she actually has seen Torchwood going into this one. Because the last time when we saw her at Wales Comic Con last year, she hadn't seen it, so I had no frame of reference whatsoever.
Fair enough. Now she knows.
Yes.
And Eve Miles is hilarious.
She is. She's absolutely brilliant. She does some fantastic Q&As. So if you've never seen Eve Miles do a Q&A before, go. It's hilarious. You will not be sorry. What else? Yeah, so I'm doing the Game of Thrones panel. Emma's doing the Outlander panel, which we've now seen the whole of Outlander.
Cool.
Have you seen that yet?
Not yet.
No, right. It's a really interesting idea. It's Ronald D. Moore who did Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah.
It's him doing one. So I don't know if you know the premise of the show.
No.
It's a combat medic from the Second World War. And she ends up touching a stone and being catapulted like 200 years back into history. And then getting stuck there.
Okay.
And it's how she deals with being stuck in kind of essentially medieval Scotland.
Sweet, I'll check that one out for
At the
sure.
time of the Civil War, so...
And Emma's doing that panel.
Emma's doing that panel, yeah.
Cool.
Because the guys on that panel, it's two of the kind of bodyguards from the show, one of whom I know from a couple of other things. He was in Skins as Madison Twatter in The Drug Dealer in season 1 of Skins, amongst other things. So he's kind of cool. Looking forward to seeing that one.
I had a milkshake in the milkshake shop from Skins.
Did you? Cool.
About a month or so ago.
In Bristol, yeah.
That was pretty sweet. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, because I go over to Bristol quite a lot now. I kind of trying to scene spot from Skins.
Yeah.
What else am I looking forward to? The Brian Blessed, because Professor Elemental interviewing Brian Blessed is just going to be genius.
Yeah.
I think he's the only person there for the weekend, I think, that can get away with it.
Well, let's hope so. That's definitely a character to have to try and wrangle.
See, Robert Rankin was good because they're both cantankerous, so that was a good one to put across. But I think Professor Elemental and Brian Blessed's going to be an interesting one.
And the prof's there like all weekend, isn't he?
He is there all weekend. Yeah, he's hosting the Imaginarium on the Friday.
And of course, Thursday night we will be in the main void.
There will be the quiz, the returning champions.
Defending our title from last year. I'm looking forward to that. I love the Thursday night. I look forward to the Thursday night. It's not rammed. It's not super busy.
There's not a big programme of events on the Thursday night, so it's nice.
You can go and you can get a drink in the Mash and Barrel, or you can hang in the main void and just get involved in whatever's going on. So yeah, that's kind of... It's a nice way of easing into the convention.
Yeah, although I am half tempted to go and see The Crazy World of Arthur Brown on Thursday night.
Really?
Yeah.
Quiz, dude.
I love The Crazy World of Arthur Brown.
I
don't know whether they overlap. I'll have to check the programme.
I didn't see anything that would conflict with the quiz. I was looking at the quiz thinking, what else would I want to go to? And
but
nothing else.
But it's the prog. It's The Crazy World of Arthur Brown.
Oh, is this HOH?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, dude. You have to. You're nervous as well. You have to come and. You have to come and sort of like.
Come on, pitch in.
Be part of the team.
You're going to get up on stage if we win this time.
If we win this time, yeah, all right.
Sweet.
I'll get up on stage and collect the prize if we win. When we win.
Excellent. Good. So yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else over that weekend. Well, I'm actually quite looking forward to the Pandorica screening because that looks like it should be quite cool.
Yeah, and that's Friday morning?
Yeah, it's Friday morning. I think it's like 10 o'clock is the screening, and then 12 o'clock after it is a Q&A. So
and that's main
really
void.
Looking forward to that. Yeah, it's in the main void. So that should be quite cool. Because I think the screening is in the sports hall this time, the screening room.
Oh, okay.
Where there was the laser taggy thing.
Yeah, so they did the GK did the Stormtrooper training.
Yes, with the fabulous face plant.
Fucking hell, that was the best. That was so cool. They have that on film somewhere as well. I want to find out who has that on film because I want to see that back.
We want a copy of it. If you're out there, please get in touch.
Yeah.
We want it. We want to post it on YouTube.
That was so much fun.
So yeah, that's. I know that they're changing around a few bits and bobs. And I think that the screening room's in there. I think on the Thursday, I think I've seen all the films that are on the Thursday. So
yeah, they're showing Mad Max Fury Road, aren't they?
Yeah.
Which is cool. That can segue slightly into our Oscars talk.
Well, it can, yeah. Because I don't think there's anything else that's kind of massively grabbed my attention for over the weekend. It's just, I think we're going to be done on interviews by kind of like early lunchtime Friday, pretty much. We'll be done and dusted.
Yeah, so we can actually just kick back and just.
Well, undoubtedly we'll be doing other interviews around kind of off stage, but that'll be us done on the stage work, I think, by then, unless I get grabbed up for anything else like last year.
Yeah, well, wait and see.
Make a colossal fool out of myself again, like I did on the Pointless.
Are they doing a Trooper Hour again this year?
I think they are. I don't know what they're doing this year, though.
Don't know who's. Don't know what the quiz is, but we'll see. But yeah, no. Okay. And also, like, the most important thing, like, the best thing about the last Weekender, we said this in our year roundup show, the best thing was meeting the fans of the show.
Absolutely. Hell yes.
So I've got a NerdVsWorld t-shirt which I'll be wearing for most of the weekend. I bought a couple of spares so I can have a clean one every day. So if you see me, just come and say hi.
Yes, do. Please, we'll be around all weekend. Love talking to people.
Yeah. It's odd. It's kind of my favourite thing in sort of like select situations. But the weekend is one of those situations where I'm quite happy to talk. So yeah, if you see us, come and chat.
Come and say hi.
Thursday night we'll be in the main void doing the quiz.
Yep.
That's all we'll be.
Yeah, and Friday daytime be around the main void. I think Emma will be in the Starbucks doing the author interviews for a lot of Friday morning, and then she's on the main stage pretty much straight after. She got 3 in a row, I think. So
Really?
Yeah.
Cool. And then in just a minute.
Yes.
Sweet.
Awesome. That is the Sci Fi Weekender. Undoubtedly, we'll be recording bits and bobs there, so we'll be putting those out.
I think the hashtag is going to be hashtag SFW7.
Yep, SFW7.
And then the NerdVsWorld hashtag will probably be hashtag Eat, Sleep, Geek, Repeat,
Yes,
as it is every year.
As last year.
Yeah, but yeah. Come, find us, say hi.
Drink beer.
Yeah, let's go and get a drink. Sweet. So, yeah, we'll go back to
Mad Max Fury Road. That was a good segue.
It was.
We overran.
We did a little bit, but shit happens.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, Mad Max...
shit happened.
Mad Max Fury Road, a genre film, was one of the big winners at the Oscars.
It was the big winner.
Yeah.
Setting aside the kind of prestige of the different individual categories and awards, it won the most. It won 4. And
Did it win 4? I thought it won 6.
I thought it won 4.
Well, this is awkward. Quickly check.
I'll check. You carry on. You Phil.
I honestly thought it was 6, but
okay. Well,
I have been wrong many times before, and we have it on record that I have been. But it won again for.
It was all technical
costume.
categories mainly.
Yeah, and costume. As
Yeah.
well. So.
There was no furore around calling the costume designer a bag lady at this one, however.
Oh, but there was some fallout of like the camera panning to the audience and people not clapping her.
Okay.
Yeah, if you can go by what trends on Facebook nowadays, that was certainly an issue apparently. I say all credit to her. She just doesn't give a shit. She does what she does.
Oh, absolutely.
Does it well, and like.
She's awesome.
Yeah, and this obsession we have with the aesthetic appeal of the person rather than their actual talent is kind of ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. So I'm still.
You still going?
Googling.
Still to Phil. But of course, we were right with some of our other predictions, though.
Yes.
I was not right about Jennifer Lawrence. She didn't win. But I think that was my heart rather than my head speaking.
I think that was
because in all honesty, she wasn't.
Crush of the week speaking.
Yeah, she wasn't the best. She didn't deserve to win the Oscar, I don't think. But Leo finally got his.
He did, yeah. And yeah, did you see the VT of him afterwards getting it engraved?
Yeah.
That was kind of cool. Do you do this every year? I wouldn't know. Smooth.
I like that he took the time in his speech to highlight some important global issues as well, because he had won an award recently for his work, specifically in dealing with climate change and raising awareness.
6 of 10. You were correct.
Boom! This is why I should be on that fucking quiz team.
And why I shouldn't.
You go watch your prog rock band then. I'll carry the show. Yeah. But what categories? Did you look those up?
I did. It was on there.
So, costume?
Yeah, it was costume design. So costume design, production design, makeup and hairstyling, editing, sound editing, and sound mixing.
Cool. Okay. Yeah, those 2 sound ones are good. I'm trying to think about the sound in those movies. Did anything in those films particularly grab me?
Well, the thing that grabbed me was the use of the live guitar player and mixing that in with the sound. I thought that was utter genius. And that alone was worthy of the Oscar by just having a playable soundtrack along with the film and having it as
Yeah.
part of the film. It was utterly meta and wonderful.
Diegetic sound.
Yeah, I loved it. It was great.
Cool. Because I would have, Star Wars had some pretty good sound mixing as well. Although more good sound design, I suppose. Than
Yeah,
sound
I think
mixing.
it was good sound design. The mixing.
Mixing probably mixes itself, to be honest. Yeah. So, yeah, okay. I can see that.
So it was all technical, and so none of the other films nominated took away anywhere near that amount.
No.
I think the next one only won 2, I think it was.
So we had Revenant won a couple. Best Director, Best Actor. That's back-to-back Oscars for Inarritu now as well.
It is, yes.
Because he won
last
for
year's
Birdman.
Birdman, yeah.
And Spotlight.
Yeah, Spotlight took Best Picture.
Best Picture, which I kind of saw coming.
Yes. Your Best Supporting Actor wasn't Stallone in the end.
Gutted about that.
Yeah.
Gutted, because I thought he was actually fantastic in Creed. Or Black Rocky, as Chris Rock called it. I thought Chris Rock handled that opening monologue.
I think he did very well.
exceptionally.
I'm sick of seeing the clip of him saying it's the White People's Choice Awards, though. God knows how many times I saw that on the day.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I thought he got the tone of that intro spot on.
Yeah.
Yeah, difficult subject to handle, but he did it. Yeah, who else won? So it was Brie Larson for The Room.
Yeah.
Which I really wanted to see, but they weren't showing it in Oxford. I couldn't find anywhere in Oxford that was showing it,
No.
which was just really frustrating. I was really keen to see that film.
Yeah, sadly, we're pretty bad in this country for screening stuff like that.
It was showing in Bristol.
Yeah, well, Bristol, hence why
Yeah.
I had to travel to Bristol to see Attack on Titan.
Fuck. I've discovered recently, over like the last 3 or 4 months, that Bristol's actually like possibly the coolest place.
It is very
in the
cool,
UK.
and it's very trendy looking as well.
Yeah.
I like the visual aesthetic to Bristol.
I mean, I'm not sure when I'm going back now, but it has been a pretty cool place to visit recently. I think I'm seeing Bill Bailey there in May, actually.
Cool.
Thinking about it, so that'd be cool.
Well, there's Lawgivers in Bristol.
Oh yeah,
if you're going
Lawgivers
to
in
Lawgiver.
Bristol. Yeah, of course.
I don't necessarily think I am this year because I think it conflicts with MCM.
Oh, that's a shame.
Because it did last year, but it was on the Sunday, so I travelled up on the Sunday
Yeah.
to go and do Lawgiver on the Monday. I think it was on the Bank Holiday Monday, but now it's actually on the Saturday, the event. So I don't think I'm going to be able to make it.
Oh, that's a shame. It's Mark III this year as well, so it's their third one.
Yeah.
That convention is going really well. I'm really, really, really happy for Sue
Definitely.
for getting that one going.
Saw quite a lot of them from there this weekend because it was obviously Rebellion were there and 2000 AD were there as a big sponsor of the OxCon event.
Yeah. Sweet.
So yeah, surprises in the Oscars. Anything say, other than Stallone? Because I know that was a surprise for you. But
Yeah, I was gutted about that for Stallone.
I was a bit gutted that The Martian didn't pick up anything more. I think it got 1, didn't it?
I don't remember. I honestly don't remember, if I'm honest. I mean, obviously, like...
Well, your animated one.
Yeah, Inside Out. Like, that should have been up for Best Film. Period. Not
Do you ever
best-
think there's a day when that's going to happen? Because animated films are just getting better and better. And I have a sneaky feeling that something like Incredibles 2 is going to come along and knock it out the park.
I mean, I would love it to happen again. But if you think there is elitism and snobbery within the Academy between Oscar bait arty movies and genre films and sci-fi and stuff and fantasy, then that's nothing compared to that division between live action
Animated
and
live
animated.
action. Yeah.
And it's a shame because Inside Out, a film should be assessed and judged on its ability to tell a coherent narrative in one go and be accepted and enjoyed on all levels without any need to pander to Oscar voters. And Inside Out does that. It's an incredible film that has a strong and consistent internal logic from which it works, and it deserved to be up for Best Picture. I mean, it won Best Animated Picture, and that's fine. It absolutely should have won that, but it should have been up for the main one. Even if it didn't win it, if it was just acknowledged as being one of the best films of the year,
Yeah.
regardless of its target market, regardless of whether it was animated or not, it needed that recognition.
I think we are in a day and age where it should be happening. Animated films certainly should. Well, they do have the same impact, if not more so, than
I would argue
films.
I would argue they have more impact
Yeah.
because the scope of what you can do with an animation is bigger than what you can do with live action and special effects. So I think their ability to tell stories better is not really up for debate. This needs to be acknowledged and recognised by this White Tower elite.
Well, maybe one day, sir.
One day. It has happened. It's happened in the past. I think Snow White won the Oscar for Best Film.
Did it?
Yeah.
I know it was certain.
I think that was the last one. But that's like quite a long time ago now.
Well, yeah, that was what, 1920s?
30s, I think.
30s.
But yeah. So there is precedent for an animated film winning Best Movies. But hasn't happened for a while and needs to happen again. I'm sure it will. Because you're absolutely right. Like the quality of the writing, the direction, the voice acting, everything is just getting better and better and better every year. So we'll see.
Indeed. So sticking with the subject of movies, I guess it's probably best to get on your soapbox about this time.
Oh,
because it's a similar theme. Well, it's a similar theme,
okay.
so
this is.
Might as well move it on.
Okay, so you've seen Deadpool now.
I have now seen Deadpool and thoroughly enjoyed it.
I've seen it twice now, and I thoroughly enjoyed it both times.
I may go and see it again tomorrow because I'm off tomorrow.
I did wonder whether I laughed as hard as I did the first time because I was in a packed cinema and you share that sort of...
That shared experience and yeah.
But I watched it again in a relatively empty cinema and I was still chuckling away and laughing away at all the funny parts. So it works as a film. It doesn't work because it's a 15. No. That's not the reason it works. And this is the soapbox moment, I guess. The frustration with the idea that because it was rated R, it was successful. And now movie studios are trying to cash in on that by making R-rated cuts of their movies or pushing for more heroes that could be R-rated. Surprisingly, Wolverine, the third Wolverine film, is allegedly going to be R-rated. And I'm not altogether unhappy about that.
Wolverine films have been getting darker.
Yeah, and that's kind of fine. If any Marvel hero, mainstream hero, was going to be R-rated, it would probably be Wolverine. Like he straight up stabs people with his claws. And if they do, as they are rumoured to be doing, an adaptation of the Old Man Logan storyline, then I'd be quite happy to see an R-rated cut. But studios need to realise that whilst the R rating gives them freedom to cuss and be more violent and bloody, that's not why Deadpool was successful.
No.
Deadpool was successful because it allowed them to embody the character correctly. My worry with narrated Wolverine is that it will just be...
the same thing with swearing. It'll be like Torchwood to Doctor Who. Yeah,
it'll be a chance for them to push boundaries that the PG-13 rating wouldn't let them do.
Yeah.
A chance for them to swear more or be more bloody and more gruesome.
Yeah, but not altering the storytelling. Yeah. So that's why I use Torchwood as the example, because the season 1 of Torchwood, the storytelling was at the same level as like Doctor Who and Sarah Jane, just with swearing, sex and violence.
Yeah. So it's not actually adding anything to the movie, making it making it 15. Making it R-rated doesn't change the character in the way that it should. If they want to do an R-rated Wolverine, then they should let Wolverine be a badass, and they should let the character evolve within the new constraints rather than just. And this is my worry with Warner's approach. Just go super grimdark, because the one that's really got me irked, it isn't Wolverine. That's fine. I can totally see a 15 Wolverine working for those reasons. But they want to do an R-rated cut of Batman vs Superman Dawn of Justice. Now, you have to bear in mind that Batman vs Superman was its original working title. And it was Batman vs Superman. It was Man of Steel 2, Batman vs Superman.
Yeah.
It was a Superman sequel that Warner's didn't feel that Superman could carry on his own, which is why they brought Batman into it. Now, you have to wonder why they thought Superman couldn't carry his own film sequel. Maybe it's something to do with the disastrous way they handled Man of Steel.
Yes.
So it then developed further to be this origin story for the Justice League. But at its heart, it's still a Superman story. Now, if there's any superhero out there that doesn't need an R-rated cut in order to fully flesh out the character, it's Superman.
Hell yeah.
There is absolutely no reason that a Superman film should ever be R-rated. No. Superman is the wholesome American hero.
Yeah.
You know?
Truth, justice, the American way. Yeah. That is what he embodies.
And Warner's, like with everything else, and like I've got major beef with Warner's this week for the Sandman thing too. We'll get to that in a second. But the way Warner's handle everything is they see this sort of prevailing idea that, wow, this film was R-rated, wow, it's broken all records for an R-rated movie. The audiences want R-rated superhero films, we'll give them an R-rated superhero film. Let's make Superman vs. Batman R-rated. Like, no, you're not understanding what people want. What people wanted with Deadpool and what they got was
a faithful adaptation of Deadpool.
You don't need to push the rating to do that with Superman. No. With Superman, if anything, you should be aiming for...
You should be aiming for PG-13 at most.
That there is no way you need to tie this down into an R-rated film.
I can see the sense in making Suicide Squad R-rated.
Which they're not doing, though. It's still coming out as PG-13.
That's my beef with it.
This is the thing. It's like, if you want to do an R-rated movie, you don't need to try and shoehorn your biggest franchise into an R-rated cut because you want to cash in on this.
With the appropriate ones.
Yeah, you do it with the one that you've got on your books coming out this year that actually would fit an R rating. If you gave Suicide Squad the R rating, then you would allow Harlequin and the Joker and the other characters that they've got in that film. So I can't be bothered to name them, like Enchantress, King Croc, all those guys. You'd give them, and these are bad guys.
Yeah.
The chance to be bad guys, to be villainous, to be scum, and to expand their character beyond what they are. But yeah, that's why I just don't get Warner's.
No, I don't understand their take on it at all.
Yeah, and this isn't the first time an R-rated movie has done so well, or an R-rated comic book movie has done well.
Look at Watchmen, The Crow.
Yeah. Well, The Crow was my first thought. But people was like, wow, an R-rated superhero film. We've never had one of those before. It's like, well, actually, we have.
Hell yeah, yeah.
Had loads.
I snuck into the cinema, I think, when I was 16 to see The Crow, and it was awesome.
So, yeah, but it's one of those things that happens in Hollywood. It's like they find something and they try to copy the success of this one thing.
Oh yeah, it's hey, this animated movie about dogs has gone down really well. Let's make 10 animated movies about dogs. It's that mentality.
Yeah. Without really understanding what it is about that film that made it successful. Yeah. So yeah, we're probably going to see a raft now of
wholly inappropriate R-rated superhero movies.
Really obscure superheroes. I mean, people are doing votes of what's the next R-rated superhero film you want to see. It's like, well, I don't. I just want to see a superhero film where the hero is how I imagine them from the books, Not just take a film and make it R-rated for the sake of it.
There are some awesome ones that they could do and do well with an R rating. Stuff like Warheads back from the old Marvel UK days. Basically a bunch of soldiers who loot through time and space for profit, which is just awesome. Yeah. Things like that you really can get a meaty storyline behind without being stuck down to a PG-13 rating.
Yeah, and the other one would have been Sandman.
Yes.
Sandman, we talked about this actually very briefly towards the end of last year. I think it might have been November, when Warner's announced that they were shipping their Vertigo titles to New Line. Mm-hmm. We wondered what the impact would be, because we kind of assumed that like Warner's would keep their main DC properties and the New Line would keep the Vertigo properties, because it mirrors how the two companies worked. And one of the unfortunate impacts of this is that Sandman has been sold to New Line. Mm-hmm. And in doing so, Joseph Gordon-Levitt has left the product due to creative differences. He had a production deal in place. He had a writer in place, David Goyer, I think it was.
Yeah, and he had Neil Gaiman on board
as an exec producer. And he was down to star in it as well, I believe.
Well, he was certainly going to be in it. I don't know whether he was going to be playing Morpheus, but he was definitely going to be in it.
Yeah, have an on-screen role. Yeah. And unfortunately, with the shift to New Line, they've changed the writers. They've changed everyone involved with the project.
Which means it'll likely disappear back into development hell again. Yeah, and it will never be heard from again. Yeah. Which is a crying shame, because I was massively on board with the Joseph Gordon-Levitt version. I was really looking forward to that.
This is why I've had major beef with Warners this week. Like, first the R-rated push, and then the Sandman issue. It's just like, that would have satisfied every need you had to be risque and cash in on the R-rated thing. Not necessarily for the violence or the language, but for the themes.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, you could have told that story really well. And now New Line have got it, and we don't know what's happening with it. But yeah, as you say, back into development hell. Probably never to be seen.
Probably not, because it involves too many properties now that are just all over the place, because, I mean, Constantine is in the first one. So, that's just not going to happen. And then Lucifer, because he's in Lucifer now. So there's all the properties that are the people he goes to in that first book are all in major kerfuffle with rights issues. Yeah. So you won't get any of the main characters that Dream goes round and speaks to.
They're either in a cancelled TV show or in a soon-to-be cancelled TV show.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
Which means that their rights are now stuck somewhere else, with an option for be at least 5 years, I think, before it expires.
Yeah.
Gutting.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna step off my soapbox for a little bit.
I would say, I agree with you wholeheartedly that, I don't want to see a slew of pointless R-rated comic book movies. It's going to kill the genre.
Yeah.
And it will. This done badly will do what, all the horrendous comic book movies of the 80s did and killed the genre for, best part of 20-odd years. Until, I think it was X-Men was the one that actually brought the comic book genre back to life again.
Yeah. Yeah, that was early 2000s.
Well, I think it's not late 90s, I think. Or was it 2000?
It was 2000, I think, because I started working at the cinema in 2004.
Okay.
My first shift was X2.
Okay, yeah. So, around 2000, 2001 then, yeah. So, yeah, I think comic book movies died a death for the best part of 10, 15 years because of the slew of really shit 80s ones that were released.
Yeah.
Tripe like The Shadow and The Phantom and...
Oh, The Phantom. Billy Zane.
Horrible things like that occurred in the 80s when in the scramble to turn anything comic book into a film.
Yeah. Oh, well. We're getting back towards that stage now.
Well, yeah, and I think we are, and that really makes me sad that we're going to hit that again, because at the moment we're in a golden age of comic books on both TV and film. Yeah. And something like this, it could well shift the balance.
Yeah. Oh, well, let's touch wood that it won't happen.
Yeah, let's hope not.
Right, I was going to breathe a little bit. and relax. Okay, so let's stay on the theme of movies then. Okay. I recently saw Pride and Prejudice and Zombies.
Yay! Is it good? I've still not seen it yet. I really want to see it.
It's fucking awesome. Okay, so I wanted to go... I was going to go see Deadpool.
You were after the last show, yeah.
Yeah, but I got there a little too late, and they'd actually gone into picture, and it was actually still busy because it was a late screening, but it was Deadpool that was doing well. So instead of wasting my trip to the cinema, I went to see Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, because I thought it's exactly what I need right now. What I need right now is I've had a long day. I've just done a podcast, had quite a long day. Not feeling 100% in terms of myself. I needed cheering up.
I just need to see zombies eating people in corsets.
God, yeah. So I just needed something utterly ridiculous to go and watch. And as luck would have it, there was Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, and it is fucking awesome.
Sweet.
I mean, like, it's not going to win any awards.
Oh,
it's not going to win anything for directing. The acting is patchy as fuck. But it does exactly what it says on the tin.
It's Pride and Prejudice and Zombies.
And, like, I'm sure you could read this film in many different ways. Like, if you take Pride and Prejudice itself and sort of look at the narrative of social inequality within Austen's work, then the zombie format it's kind of perfect for the same sort of allegory. You have the us versus them, the living versus dead, and like you could read the film at a more academic and intellectual level, or you could just turn your fucking brain off, sit down, and watch people in corsets get eaten by zombies. And the funniest parts of it are when they actually work Austen's lines into the script. So, like, if you're an English lit major and you're out there and you've been studying Austen all your life and you go and watch this film, there will be parts where you will just chuckle so hard. Not because of the randomness of the zombie killing violence, but because of the way the lines from this book can work
in a
zombie film. It's fantastic. Like, I needed cheering up that day, and that film did the trick.
Marvellous.
100%. So yeah, that was Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. If you have to ask for a synopsis of what it's about, like, all I can say is just reread the title of the film, and that's pretty much it.
The only question I have to ask is Matt Smith.
As the pastor?
Yeah.
He is so cloyingly and creepily annoying. He's perfect.
Excellent. That's what I wanted to hear.
Yeah. He is, he's kind of perfect. And obviously Charles Dance as well.
Well, it's Charles Dance and Lena Headey, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah. So yeah, it's brilliant. It's one of those films you can just turn your mind off and sit back and enjoy.
Sweet. I have to see it before it goes off the cinema.
Yeah. And then the other one is more or less the exact opposite of that. It was Hail Caesar. So,
Coen Brothers.
Coen Brothers. So, it's weird. It's enjoyable. It's insane. It's exactly what you expect a Coen Brothers film to be. It's sort of the convoluted plot lines and weird twists. Phenomenally well acted all the way throughout, but notably Josh Brolin as the fixer of a Hollywood studio. Like, he's really come into his own. And it is like The Big Lebowski is basically the story of one
trying
man
to get his rug back.
Yeah, trying to get his rug back. This is the story of him trying to get his Hollywood star back. And that main story isn't like maybe 1/3 of the film. The rest of it is the Coen Brothers showing that they can do different types of movie in one movie. So you've got the homage to the 50s cinema system and how everything works and how it's put together, the management of stars and the ownership and all that, and how the system was played. And then in between, Josh Brolin looking for George Clooney's character who gets kidnapped by what turns out to, actually, I'm not going to spoil that. He gets kidnapped by a group of people, and it's not what you think from the trailers. There's something more to it, but I'm not going to give that away. That's a big reveal, and it's kind of cool, because it works with. There's another film coming out called Trumbo, about how writers were treated during. I can't give it too much away. It's about the treatment of writers of a particular political slant who were blackballed from Hollywood and had to write under alias names.
Pseudonyms, okay.
Yeah. So that's kind of... It ties into the serious issues that Trumbo is dealing with.
Okay, so it's rather than one kind of continuous narrative, it's like a series of vignettes.
Well, all the characters that are in there are in their own little films that are being filmed on set. So Scarlett Johansson's character, who was essentially a Kate McKinnon character from any SNL sketch that Kate McKinnon's ever done.
Okay.
She has that deep New York accent, and it just looks jarringly out of place with how she looks. She looks elegant, and she has this sort of voice which doesn't go with it. But yeah, it's all about... She has different stories going on at the same time. The Channing Tatum scenes where he is doing a song and dance routine, it just feels like the Coen Brothers going, look... We can do this sort of shit if you want.
Pick one. We'll do that as the next film.
We have all these scenes that we want to do, and the overall narrative of Hail Caesar lets us shoot all these scenes that we've been wanting to shoot for years.
Okay.
So
cool.
we'll shoot this song and dance number. We'll shoot this Western number. We'll do this big religious sort of Roman epic number, all under the auspices of this one
film.
story.
Oh, cool.
And it works.
Well, they're not one to shy away from convention, shall we say?
It really works. It's not laugh out loud funny. It got me chuckling in a couple of places. But yeah, it's an enjoyable farce. They're slightly less farcical than I'm used to with the Coen Brothers, but it's still a farce. But yeah, really, really good. Well worth a watch. Probably about an 8 out of 10, I reckon.
Sweet.
I loved it. So, but I'm a fan of most of the Coen Brothers stuff.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I like a lot of it. Yeah, there's a few that I still haven't seen and don't quite get, but yes. Yeah, I like a lot of their stuff.
So yeah, it was worth a watch.
Cool. I think what I've been catching up on, I finally saw Spectre the other day, which was okay. Again, I was gutted that Sam Smith won the Oscar because that song is just tripe. Sorry, Sam, if you're listening.
No, you're a fan of the show.
But on the complete flip side of that, saw The Man from U.N.C.L.E. and thoroughly enjoyed that.
Okay.
That was really, really good. Fantastic film. Really enjoyed that.
Sweet.
So it's kind of like Bond seems to be a like dry spy, whereas The Man from U.N.C.L.E. was quality kind of 60s camp, properly back in the way the series worked.
Yeah,
it's utter genius. The interplay between the characters is just fantastic. So yeah, do watch that if you get the chance.
I might check it out. I know it's on sale in Sainsbury's at the moment.
Yeah.
Although, oh man, like there's a film called Deathgasm.
Yes.
It was on the shelf in Sainsbury's the other day. It's a New Zealand film, and like I kind of like some of their weird horrors. Like I loved Black Sheep.
Yes.
I thought Black Sheep.
Yes, I watched Black Sheep. That was
amazing.
Fantastic.
I'm tempted to buy it. It's basically about a couple of losers who form a metal band, and then like all the ideas of metal iconography and Satanism all happen to be true, and through like playing as a band, they sort of summon shit. I saw the trailer for it, and it looks hilarious.
Brilliant.
So it looks like one of these traditionally sort of funny, darkly black comics, I guess.
Sounds very similar to the one we were talking about the other day, which is The Last Lovecraft. If you come across that one. It's about an American stoner who turns out to be last in the line of Lovecrafts. It's genius. College stoners versus Cthulhu. It's brilliant.
Brilliant.
Well worth a watch if you ever get the chance. Found it on the Horror Channel one night. It's truly brilliant.
Brilliant. Right, what have we got left to cover?
Cool. I think that's us pretty much there, I think.
I think we've raced through that.
I don't know about raced. Meandered. I think is probably a much better word. Where are we? Yeah, we've covered pretty much all of that off. Yeah, Sci Fi Weekender. Yeah, everything, sir. That's us done in good time.
There you go, folks. Professional podcasters. That's all we are, professional podcasters.
Professional to the last.
Yeah. Cool. All right then.
Sweet. So yeah, I guess we'll wrap up and yeah, hopefully see you all at Sci Fi Weekender.
Yeah. Definitely come and say hi if you see us there. There won't be another cast now until after the Sci Fi Weekender, so
unless we record one there.
Unless we record one there. We'll see.
We shall see.
Okay. Well, in that case then, that's all for this week. Thank you all very much for listening. I've been Brendan.
I've been Spindles.
And until next time, take care and be excellent to each other.